Hi. This was originally supposed to be another video that I already recorded, but that video was supposed to only take like 5 to 10 minutes, and it ended up taking like 2.5 hours. So instead, we're gonna revisit what happened in that video and not edit every moment of me talking out of 2 hours, because that's silly. I have a Unity project for which I am currently working on sound design stuff. I'm trying to show you, and I don't have this. There we go. Here we are. Entirely made by me, except for some borrowed code, but that's part of learning. Currently, what I am looking to do is to get this generator piece of equipment to make a hum. Just like as an ambient part of the soundscape within your environment. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a breakdown of how I made the generator hum, and then how I implemented the hum within Wwise and Unity. So yeah, let's get started. So what you see here is the Reaper. Let's kill that for a moment. What you see here is the Reaper project, the session that I used to make that sound. This project, I started with recording air circulation in my house, just exploring and seeing what I could do with it. I didn't know which way I wanted to go with it, so this project ended up serving two purposes. What the air circulation ended up being used in was a replication of the Overwatch idle sound, the like magic you hear whenever you're hovering over one of the main menu elements after you start up the game. That'll show up in another video. But for this video, what I ended up doing was I tried to use that air circulation. I didn't like the result I was getting. So instead, I just restarted within this project, made a new track, starting with the EMO generator. The EMO generator is just a signal generator. Maybe it's emo generator? I don't know. But what a signal generator does is it just generates a pure sine wave. You can tell it has presets, or white, pink noise, brown noise too sometimes, depending on what you're looking for. But should be able to hear it now. It's relatively quiet at negative 30 dB. So I'll give you a boost here so that you can hear. Yeah. So that's my 81 hertz signal. 47.3 is what I was at. Like I said, white and pink noise are also options that you can use depending on what you're looking for. Now, I wanted to have this sound a little more growly, and just like have more texture to it. Because this is literally just an 81 hertz sine wave. Technically, as far as physics go, it produces other harmonics. Does it? It's not active currently. Technically, as far as physics go, it produces other harmonics, but I wanted to experiment with the pitch shifting and just other effects, accustoming myself to Reaper more. So from my 81 hertz source signal, I added a pitch downshifter. see, can we add any gain to that? No? Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll boost this. So after shifting it down by 4 semitones, 48 cents, and altering these other settings, as you see, I got this nice flow to it. Like it has an ebb rather than just feeling like a sine wave, which is more of what I wanted. Perhaps in the future I'll experiment with actually just producing the sine wave this low. It's really just all experimentation. I wanted it to sound a little bit more than what this was though, so I added a wave shaping distortion for more texture. There we go, and we don't need that to be so loud. It just adds a little bit of flavor to it, which I like. And then finally, I put it through an EQ. Because I didn't quite like how much high end it had, I wanted it to be more of like, these are big generators, you know? They're not supposed to sound all squirrely. So I just adjusted the EQ curve, got rid of a lot of the high end, gave it a little bit more mid. Cut some of the low end just because I didn't want it to be overwhelmingly bassy. But I got a growl that I'm quite happy with. Rendered that, and that became my source audio. So now, this means we can move on to Unity and Wwise. So, now here we are in my Unity project. This is my power generator. And we already have Wwise open. Let's take a look at what the sound is via the designer. So, we'll hide that for now, because that's part of a different discussion. Oh, I did not want to open help. So, I have my generator hum sound set up as a sequence. We will talk about why I have it as a sequence later, maybe. Or maybe now. Depends. We'll figure it out. A sequence with 2 sound source objects. Why do I have it as a sequence? Because I wanted it to loop perpetually, right? Well, if you look at just the normal object, loop doesn't have a lot of options. And I was trying to get it to loop flawlessly. If I have a sequence instead, it gives me the option of transitions. Right now it's set to crossfade power. I imagine power means exponential, but I guess I'll do more research on that later. I have a crossfade for 4 seconds. And positioning-wise, I have it set to have 3D spatialization on based on position. I was going to do position and orientation, but I was running into a lot of issues with the sound implementation, which we'll also come to later, I guess. It has the attenuation curve that I set up called weapon attenuator. I originally was going to use that just for a weapon sound, which it is implemented. It's just on an object that's not currently going to be shooting at the player. I have it set out of the way so that we don't have to hear that. Right now we're focused on this generator hum. The weapon attenuation curve could be used for really all the objects. It's just, it happens to be named weapon attenuator. And it's common to use the same attenuator for most objects unless you really need to have something specific be quieter or louder than the other objects depending on your distance. Back to Unity. So here we are. On the Unity side of things, I've got the power generator thing is my object name currently. I think these scripts kind of just ended up here by default. I know I added this one just to make sure the bank was loaded. For optimization purposes, I'm gonna get rid of that, I think, because FES player already loads the bank. But right now I don't want to deal with any additional troubleshooting just in case that messes something up. Where the real meat and potatoes here is generator script. This is my custom script that posts the event. By post, we mean it tells the engine to run the Wwise sound event. And so here's my script. It's very simple. It's actually based directly on one of Wwise's, like, I think they call it 60-second tutorials or something. But you just declare your public variable of the Wwise event, name it. Within Unity, you select what event it is. Mine is power hum. I named it within this script gen on, and so gen on posts to itself. It posts the event that gen on is assigned power hum to itself, meaning it's just going to play the Wwise event at the start of the script running, which is it's whenever it spawns, really. So let's take this listen. So you should be able to hear it in the right channel if you're listening carefully. But as I get closer, because of my attenuation, here we are. Now, that is where the crossfade is happening. And I intend to fix that. How I'm going to fix that is my new project, I suppose, or my new task for this project. And that's where we really get into the discussion of the problems that I ran into. First off, just side note for anybody who is also experimenting with this. For some reason, at least maybe I set something up wrong on my end, but for some reason with the way Wwise and Unity work, you really should generate your sound banks from Unity. I tried in Wwise so many times, and this is why it took me like 2 hours. Because I ended up doing just a bunch of troubleshooting. I don't know why it wasn't... My sound banks weren't being generated correctly. Unless I did it from Unity. What was I talking about? Oh. So, you can hear the crossfade of my generator. Are you like that? That was odd. You can hear the crossfade that happens, and I'm not quite happy about that. So, my potential solutions. 1, set the audio source, like trim the audio source down to the correct sample. That should theoretically work, though it could introduce some distortion clip just because the sound doesn't like fade in naturally. There's no attack really to it. It's just on. And that could be a little bit of a pain just because of finding where the actual repeat happens, though I know it's based on an 81 hertz sine wave. So I should be able to get reasonably close. Second option. Bake the fade into my source audio so that I know it's not going to clip. And really, I could do a minuscule fade. third option with my generator sounds, my objects here, which I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the reason I have two is because for some reason the infinite loop on the generator hum, on the object itself, it doesn't have any crossfade options. And so what I was ending up with was either if I didn't fade it, I got a distortion clip, or if I did fade it, you could tell that it was fading every loop. The option, I need to do some solution exploration. But outside of that, yeah, I'm quite happy with the sound design itself. And I think it really fits the project quite well. At least the current aesthetic of it. Which I suppose is kind of easy whenever you're the one directing the entire project. But we'll see what happens from here. And I'm excited to be able to show off what happens once I solve it, because I know I'm not going to be happy until I solve it. So, until next time.